Assalamu alaikum, bro. You're on mute. Like Islam, how you doing?
I'm fine, thank you a lot. Yourself, sir?
I'm doing fine by Allah's grace, my brother. Let me check something real quick and then we're gonna get started.
Okay.
You're on mute, Brother Victor. Assalamu alaikum.
Alaikum salam, sir.
How are you?
I'm well. Alhamdulillah. You?
Praise be to Allah. I'm doing well by Allah's grace. Brother Eric, is Brother Victor's screen sideways, or is it? Can you see him straight up?
Yeah, he needs to turn. He needs to turn his camera. It was sideways. I don't know why it was, but it was sideways.
You vertical, Brother Victor, not horizontal.
That should have made his picture turn. That's the interesting part.
Yeah, exactly.
His picture should turn.
Okay, well, let's get started. For all of our the beneficent, the merciful, I bear witness that there is no God but Allah, and I bear witness that Muhammad is his messenger. I further bear witness that Allah came in the person of Master Father Muhammad, taught one from among us. That man there, the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, who wrote How to Eat to Live, which is the foundation of this show, and what we will be discussing tonight. And of course, the two of them did not leave us alone. They have a friend, a guide, a counselor in our midst. I'm speaking of the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan, and their names are greet you in words of peace of Assalamu alaikum. My brothers, how are you doing this afternoon, this evening, should I say?
You're on mute.
I'm doing exceptionally well, working hard in the name of God, doing my best to make my word my bond and maintain my peace. And that's a 24-hour date.
Yes,
So I'm well.
How about you, Brother Eric?
Brother, we are blessed, and I should say highly favored, to be able to do this work that we three are doing today. And I cannot say anything but all praise is due to Allah for the opportunity to help, to serve, to be at the forefront of in a time where the information that we have been given through our brother and through yourselves, through myself and others, to help our people is needed. It's interesting to be in a place where you're needed in this time. It humbles you immensely to know that God is using you.
Absolutely, yes, sir. And for those of you who are with us, and you see the subject matter was the new How to Eat to Live paradigm. It's not that we have something that the Honorable Elijah Muhammad didn't make the blueprint for us, but we believe we are walking into a reality of producing what How to Eat to Live is supposed to represent. Okay, so I just want to ask both of you first question. Brother Victor, the first question for you is, we had a conversation not too long ago about money and making money and things of that nature. So I just want you to let the brothers and sisters that are listening know, what's your motivation? Because Brother Eric and I have talked, and you and I have talked. I mean, you could be exceptionally rich, which you are in a lot of ways, but I'm talking about from the financial perspective. If you had taken your products and you had gone to certain industries and gotten contracts and things of that nature, but as you said to me personally, that's not your motivation. So what is your motivation?
That's a good question. I learned when I was about 26, when I was working at NIH. I was offered some opportunities to grow, and I would have grown in that environment. And when I left there, I went to Johns Hopkins Medical School, and I was made some offers. And I would have, had I accepted those offers, I would have been filthy rich by now. But I would not be the man in whom I'm growing.
Yes, sir.
And the man, I don't believe that God could have used me had I gone into those environments, because I would have been doing the bidding and the work of some other man. And it is my belief that what Jesus told the disciples, to seek ye first the kingdom of God and all its righteousness, and all things will be added unto thee.
Yes, sir.
So things are added to me. I don't have to go searching for anything. Things are added to me because I waited, and I did not take a mean price for what I've been given. So my motivation is to be part of this new kingdom that's being currently brought in. The Western world, as we know, is dead.
That's right.
We don't know it's dead because we're keeping it alive in our own minds by thinking it into existence. But the Western world is dead, and it has no power.
That's right.
And so God said that he would bring in a new kingdom. And behold, I make all things new. And so since God doesn't work with magic, then if he's going to make all things new, and he is, then there will have to be human beings who will make those things new. And I believe that I'm one of them. So that's why I wouldn't take money in my early 20s to be part of a world that was dying.
Yes, sir. Great answer. You know, it's amazing because I was telling somebody, and I've told people over the last probably few months, that if it was not for these teachings and the teachings that Honorable Elijah Muhammad How to Live and the minister's teachings, I probably would be promoting the vaccine right now. So that's how crazy the world of so-called education can make us as people when we have a gift and a talent. And sometimes our enemies see that and they take us and they use us for their purposes. Brother Eric, what about you, bro?
When I was graduating from high school some time ago, I was standing on Sunset Boulevard, which is known as the 9,000 Club, because that's where we had our graduation party. And we were partying and having a good time. People asked me this question. It's 1977. They asked me a question. They said, "What are you going to do with your life?" And, brother, I don't know where this answer came from, but this is what I said. I said, I'm going to help my people. That's what I'm doing. Later on, at 26 years old, I came in contact with the teaching of the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad through the exegesis of the Minister Louis Farrakhan. And once I heard the minister, I knew that that's what my calling was, is to help him. That's always been my desire, no matter my years in network television, no matter my years doing his satellite broadcast, no matter what we're doing today, as I'm helping my brother and you with what we're we're doing today. The ultimate goal was to help him in his mission, helping the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad in the ultimate mission, which is the salvation of our people. So my motivation is to see us free. I don't have a child that I can say that if I left here today, that I put in place a world for them where they can express themselves freely. They must battle the same Satan that I've battled for the last 62 years of my life. What kind of father would want to lead his children battling the same battles that he battled and then say, I took you further?
Right.
That's an impossibility. That's an oxymoron. That's not a formula that you can say that it equates to what you intended when you were born. So when I get up or don't go to sleep, my intent is to help the man that God put here, to help a man whose ultimate mission is the fulfillment of what we say that we believe. So my motivation is to help the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan, because I know beyond the shadow of a doubt that God has chosen him to free us from all that was before us. So that's my motivation.
Yes, sir. Praise be to Allah. Give a couple shout outs and we're going to get right back to the conversation. Sister Brenda Muhammad, Daryl Muhammad, Walaikum Salam, Pure Black. How you doing? Malik Muhammad, 8 Electronics, Alrico Perkins, Leroya Muhammad, George Allen III, Daisy Muhammad, Shirley X, Linda Muhammad, Sister Queen, Hairstyles by Hairstyles by Owner. Walaikum salam to everybody. Good evening, Etta Purcell. I'm glad everybody can hear well. Yes, we're going to get to that in a little bit. Hanif Ali, Winford Perry, thanks for coming in. Donita Lake. Are you taking the Yes. I will give you the information a little bit later. Hairstyles by Owner, but yes, we all are still seeing clients. And Sandra Muhammad, walaikum salam. Valerie Muhammad, walaikum salam. So next on the discussion, my brother Victor and brother Eric, is, we all are busy doing our individual things and also trying to do things in unity. But we're going to talk about the supplement in a little bit. But what can you share with the listening audience about what you are doing to bring in the reality of how to eat to live other than the supplements? Let's start with you, Brother Victor.
Well, I was given a system about 3 years ago. And that system, I called it, or I was given the title, The New Health Paradigm. Since that time, I mentioned it on the show with Brother Tariq in 2017. And since that time, I've heard that phrase being repeated. Excuse me. But prior to me using that phrase, I had never heard it. And I don't know what others intend by that, but I was given a new health paradigm. And that paradigm includes a completely new method of dealing with diseases and the health of the human being. And it includes food. It includes care. It includes supplements, non-medicinal products. And it mostly includes a human factor, because we've spent too much time in the last 100 years since the American Medical Association was formed in the late 19th century.
Mm-hmm.
And since medical schools were privatized in the late 1960s, late 19th century, early 20th century, human component to the care of health and to the care of the human being. And so, excuse me. And so, this is something that has been given to us to deal with the human family of the planet Earth, not just Black people. What we've been given is effective for any human being that lives on the Earth. And if they follow the guidance that we are now giving for the last 3 years, then they will experience the same benefits that that's being reported to us from people who are using the services and the products that are part of this new health paradigm. And so I hope I answered your question.
Yes, sir. Absolutely. You know, it's you brought something to my mind. You know, there's a lot of talk right now in the media and amongst a lot of healthcare practitioners about ivermectin. And I'm sure many of you have seen things on social media, things in the news about ivermectin. This is a lot of push about ivermectin. And a lot of the conversation is about a product that is not expensive and has been shown to do a lot of things. And, you know, people want to know why the government didn't push that in the FDA emergency use authorization documentation. They say that there are no other alternatives to the vaccine, which we all know is a lie. But that is my concern, right? My concern is that we have a lot of, especially Black physicians, that are talking about ivermectin, which has side effects, but yet they won't try to look into and get more information about things that we are talking about tonight that do not have any side effects. The three of us have been working together for a while now, years, and that I know of, I have not heard of a side effect with the supplements. So we're going to get to that a little more a little later. What about you, Brother Eric? I know you have been posting on Facebook about land and the project. So what is the land acquisition in reference to?
The land acquisition is in reference to a blessing that was bestowed on me by the other guest on the show, Mr. Victer Muhammad. When I came in contact with Mr. Muhammad as it relates to the supplements, I knew that I was supposed to help. There was no doubt in my mind. That's just the nature of my creations, to help. He came one day, he said that this land was available, and he, as an agricultural scientist, and me knowing the level of his gift from God as a biomedical research scientist, and things that we talk about daily, I knew what he was telling me and the things that he was showing me as it relates to the new health paradigm and the, I'll say, degrees, like on a circle. You know, you can your juxtaposition can be out on degree 1, and that's the only position you see it from. But if you were standing in the middle of the circle, you could see all of the degrees, as long as you're looking in certain directions to see it. And when I would listen to Mr. Victer Muhammad, I knew and know that God has given him something for us to move us on in beyond what this world is offering. His demonstration for me was of a man like unto the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan, and what God has blessed him with. We all have gifts, but those gifts and talents are normally not allowed to flourish because normally people with no gifts sit in a position that govern whether or not you use your gift.
That's
so
right.
You have to step outside that circle, and you got to be a man or a woman about you. I mean, just keeping it real.
Yes, sir.
So Mr. Victer Muhammad invited me to take part in what I call of his movement was Muhammad's Ranch and Farm Project number 1, where him, Dr. Patrice Muhammad, and another member, and myself purchased some land under his guidance and tutelage of what he sees and knows from God as being an essential prerequisite to the New Health paradigm. From that, I was sitting at home one day and I was looking at some property. And, we all have our gifts, and God put in my head, you need to see if we can get property for those who believe like we believe. I also saw that, in truth, there's no way to bring the vision that he had been given by God from the teachings of the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad, the exegesis of the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan, without help. It's just too much work. But there's no way to get help if you don't have no people on the farm. So some people had to be brought into this environment so we could have some help. So me and how I look at things as one who wants to help is I saw the need for myself to go out and find other people of like mind to get involved in this process. So that became Muhammad Ranch and Farm Project 2. As soon as Project 2 completed, I had spoken to the people that Mr. Victer Muhammad had introduced me to in Project 1. Unbeknownst to him, he doesn't know I'm doing any of this. He finds out as I move through it, but I'm not informing him because, hey, you don't inform when you help, you just help. When you bring back what you have, they can use it, that's what you do. So then the property, which is now the 159.4 acres, is now known as Project 3, which is 100% owned by members of the Nation of Islam, has now been completed. They are now under the co-op that we formed, which is Muhammad's Ranch and Farm Co-op, which is, unbeknownst to Mr. Victer Muhammad, under his guidance, because I asked him for every step of the way what to do, that I go implement that, because knowledge is knowledge. You go to where you get the best knowledge of what to do. I don't bother him with the details because that's minutia. Just bring back the results so we can all be free. Brotherhood is brotherhood, brother. And we all have gifts and talents. And until we are in an environment to where we are able to express those gifts and talents in the vein of the cliche that we now use. See, it's a cliche when you look in the face of a black man or woman, you're looking in the face of God, but you don't never want to hear what God has to express. You only want to hear what's coming out of your mouth. And we normally don't need to hear that because you have no words.
Yes,
so
sir.
we really don't need to hear you talking about it. The minister said, time for talk is over.
That's right.
If you have something, get up and do it. And if Allah's going to bless you to do it, if he's with you, you'll be blessed. Well, Allah's with us, man. That's no doubt. No doubt. Because we three get up every day and go to war with Satan, head on. We ain't pulling at his tail. We're not trying to sneak around the corner. He knows what we're doing. And if it wasn't for the grace of God, we would not be doing it.
That's right.
So that's what my motivation is. I'm not a front brother. I'm a man's man. I don't follow behind nobody. But if I see God in my brother, I will lock step with him.
Yes, sir.
Because it's not about Victor. It's not about Akili. It's not about Eric. It's not about my family. It's not about my children. It's about the whole and the mission that God has given the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan to free us. And if we're not helping that man, then what are we really doing?
That's right.
So that's me. And again, pardon my emotion.
Man, passion is necessary, my brother. So, as you both were speaking, I was thinking about the story that I heard that the Honorable Elijah Muhammad was on the phone with a brother who was in Georgia looking at the land. And the Honorable Elijah Muhammad from Chicago asked a few key questions and told the brother to purchase the land. Now, whether you all agree or disagree, I know that the Honorable Elijah Muhammad is superhuman because he was taught by the God of this dispensation of time. Our brother Victer Muhammad went to school and learn these things so that he could go to the land and know what to do with the animals and the soil and things of that nature. So, Brother Victor, can you tell us why you are, I would say, qualified to give the instruction that Brother Eric just finished expressing about the land and which to buy and the animals and how to take care of them and the soil and all the things that you do with your land and the advice you're giving for the land that people are purchasing? What is the qualification that you have to be able to give that type of information and we rely on it?
I was born on a plantation in the Mississippi Delta. When I say plantation, I was literally born on a plantation. And I spent the first 10 years of my life living on this plantation. And the day after I finished the 4th grade school, I had to go to work in the cotton fields. So on that plantation, the Caucasian who owned the plantation farmed cotton, soybeans, rice, cattle, corn, milo, and I believe wheat, and a few horses. So from the time that I was 8, I started farming. Then when I went to college, I majored in agriculture, and my area animal science is the only major that exists.
Brother Victor,
every other major or field of study that there is.
Brother Victor,
Yeah.
I apologize. You broke up right when you said I majored, and specifically, you broke up after that.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, sir.
I majored in agriculture in college, and my concentration was animal science physiology. Then at the master's level, my master's degree was in agriculture, animal nutrition. And at the PhD level, my study was digestive physiology and ruminant nutrition. So after that, I worked as an agricultural specialist in Chico County, Arkansas. I worked as an analyst with USDA in Washington, D.C., and I've been farming for the last 30 years. So that's some of what I've done with regard to agriculture.
So really, brothers and sisters, what we should be saying when we mention Brother Victor's name, we should be calling him Dr. Muhammad, because that's really what he is, a doctor in this field that we're discussing today. But, the reality is that in How to Eat to Live, this monumental book that I say that this program and this show and I is the foundation of everything that I do and everything that I'm a part of. The Honorable Elijah Muhammad told us and tells us on multiple pages and in other books as well that we will not be able to have a true How to Eat to Live without land, owning our own land and doing our own farming. And so that, brothers and sisters, is what we really have to do. We have to start thinking from that capacity. And as Brother Eric said, I believe that the three of us aren't working for an individual reality. We're working on the part of the whole. And that's why I started with the question about what is the motivation of these brothers, because that's a large way that we evaluate and assess who we're dealing with. And that should be something that we're all doing. We're all going to meet people. We're going to come in contact with other people. But there's an assessment and evaluation and a vetting that you have to do to make sure you're in the company and the brotherhood of somebody that is thinking in alignment with you and what it is that you believe God has put you on this planet Earth. So, brothers, take that. What about How to Eat to Live in the land do you see progressing over the next few years, as what you said earlier, Brother Victor, as we see America going down into the tubes. It's a sinking ship in the reality of what we're seeing going on right now. And as I have said on multiple occasions, at the beginning of this pandemic, there were many articles in newspapers and television shows around the world and the country talking about famine was coming. And so if we're not doing something to be able to put some food in our own mouths, what are we going to wind up having to do? So brothers, take that and discuss that for a minute about what is the importance of what we are doing, what you are doing in the elevation of us into being more independent and not dependent on them.
No man can be a free man without ownership of land. It is an impossibility because without land, you will always be dependent on another man for your sustenance, and therefore you can never be a man, contrary to what we may believe and what we may think. Ask a rich man who has $6 billion in the bank, but has no food. And the man who has food won't sell him any. What good is his $6 billion in the bank if the man with food won't sell it to him? Then he will starve unless he goes out and does something, maybe get a shotgun and go and take some food. But other than that, he's dependent. So the best answers generally are the shortest answers, the most succinct answers. And I think that that's the best analogy to give the necessity for farmland and having the knowledge of how to go into the soil and bring out what you need for sustenance.
Yes, sir. Brother Eric?
The minister is teaching us and is showing us the way to our independence. And what Brother Victor has just shared with us is that in the acquisition of land, you become independent. Here are some things that I gleaned when I became a landlord. I walked on my land. If I wanted water, I put a well on my land. I didn't have to go to the city to get my water that's contaminated with chlorine and fluoride and waste products. The moment I bought my land, I dug a well. Now I can drink water from the earth directly. There's no city government between me and my water.
Right.
I went out and I purchased, got advice from Brother Ralph, who's a solar expert. I purchased a lot of solar panels. That lot of solar panels will be put on my property, and then I will have electricity. I won't have a bill on my land. So, they say saving money is making money. I am a student of agriculture and animal husbandry under Mr. Victer Muhammad. So now I own animals. I'm not a meat eater, but people are. So I'm in the meat selling business with Mr. Victer Muhammad because people eat meat.
Right.
I don't eat meat, but I do eat vegetables. I have land. Over 40 acres personally or more. So when it's time for me to eat vegetables, I don't have to go to the store because everything of sustenance that I need in my life, I can produce myself now. And that's free. That's true freedom. I want fresh fish. I have a pond on my land that I'm going to, under the tutelage of Mr. Victer Muhammad, grows the cleanest fish you can get in America in the fresh water and eat them. Not have to worry about what antibiotic they had yesterday, the day before. But all of that comes from the land. My daughter, praises be to Allah, she loves her uncle, so she's following in his footsteps. She's going to Davis. Stop laughing, bro. And she's going to study animal science.
That's right.
After talking to her uncle.
Yes.
And following his footsteps. So, fathers take him further, so when she finishes, she'll walk into this and be able to do all of her studies under his tutelage and learn how to become an animal scientist, which is the science of every living thing on the planet. So, and she'll do it on her own land.
That's right. Absolutely. Yes, sir.
She won't get a half lesson. She'll get a whole.
That's right.
So freedom is a cliche without land.
That's right.
It's a cliche.
Yeah, it's
you
amazing.
Can't talk about being free.
That's right.
Living in any city in America. That's why Brother Collins used to call the Brother Victer when he's at the defense highways to lock you in. Well, those are lessons we need to learn.
Yes, sir.
I remember when COVID, I close on this point. I remember when COVID first came out and we were down on the farm. Remember, Brother Victer, we were down on the farm clearing it right after we got it. And we were down on the farm, brother, and we wouldn't have known COVID even existed if we didn't go back to the city. Is that right, Brother Victer?
It's true.
We would not have known it existed if we didn't go back to the city.
Yes, sir.
Because there wasn't one case of COVID in that county where we were in Georgia.
Yes, sir. It's amazing because my son is starting college this year, well, in the next couple of months as well, and he's planning on going into veterinary and animal science as well. So it's it's amazing how our children are, they're guided not by what we say, but they're guided more by what we do.
Right.
And it's an amazing reality because, like you said, when you get to working on what it is that you believe is your gift, you get confirmation that that's what it is, and it's not work; it's enjoyment. Anytime I work on my land, I have a small garden and plan on continuing to grow it, but it is never work like. I'm sure many of us who have worked for other people, it's never that type of anxiety work, because the blessings that come from the work that you put in always are much more in volume than you believe the work that you put in. So that is my experience with the land that I have owned over years. That is always abundance that you don't even know how to measure, and you definitely do not have the ability to foresee. And so as we kind of shift gears and start talking about the supplement, I've mentioned on my show on many of occasions, Brother Victer, that I've never gotten behind a product. I've never sold or been a distributor of any products in my career because I just never saw anything that I believed was good enough to give to people that trusted me. Because of the reality of what we see on a regular basis, right? We see medications that were approved by the FDA. And then years later, 10, 15 years later, after these companies have made billions of dollars, then they come back and say, we're going to have to pull this off the market because it's causing heart attacks or it's causing cancer or this or that or this or that. I never wanted to have my name associated with that reality. And Brother Eric was a little frustrated me at one point because he saw in Brother Victer's supplements before I saw what was in Brother Victor's supplements, and I have to be, I guess I'm one of those type of people where I have to see it. I can't just accept your word. But as you have produced these supplements that we already have quite a few of the guests that are talking about the benefits of them, Brother Victor. But when you were in the process of producing the supplements that you actually have to offer now, did you foresee that it had the ability? I know you talked a little while ago about that blessing and the different aspects of the new health paradigm, but what did you actually see? Were you able to see what you are now witnessing with the product? The products,
No.
should I say?
No. The whole thing started. See, what many people do not understand about the history of the supplement, the ImmunoBoost 100, was I worked with this product about 31 years ago, long before Dr. Coach started working with it in Nairobi. And this was at NIH. And we played around with it, but it was thrown in the trash, literally. The project was thrown in the trash because the methodology that was being used to test the product, they were using the wrong methodology. And it was thrown in the trash. So I went on and I left NIH and I went to Johns Hopkins and started doing glaucoma research. Then I received a phone call in November 1994 from Dr. Muhammad, and he asked for my help because his patients were dying and they were sick. And I went and got my immunology textbooks, and God blessed me. That was different from anything that had been put in pills or lozenges, and I knew that that was unstable, and the activity was inconsistent. So I knew I didn't want to do lozenges or pills. So I was blessed to come up with the formulation, which was a liquid. And I took it to Dr. Muhammad at the clinic in November 1994. And from that day to this day, the product has been on the market. The product has been being utilized. And there has not been one person in 28 years who has said that the product did not provide them some benefit. And there has not been one person in 28 years who has said they have a negative side effect.
Right.
Could I see this? Did I see this in November 1994? Absolutely not. I was just responding to a phone call that I had. So I can't take credit. I can't really receive accolades because I was just responding to a phone call. That's all.
Praise be to Allah for that humility.
It's true.
Yes, sir. Yeah, it is true, and that to me, you know, I say that and I'm laughing, but I'm being very serious because I feel the same way. You know, the way that How to Eat to Live transformed the information and the knowledge, some of the knowledge and a lot of propaganda that I received by going through all those years in school. You can't take credit for it. It's an impossibility to take credit for something that you know is a gift to you, and that Allah is using you to help and produce a greater reality that we believe and know is coming in as we speak. So, Brother Eric, I got the same question for you, bro. I mean, you didn't make the reality, but when we met, and no, I should take that back because we met long before, but I'm saying when we met on this subject of the supplements, you did seem to have an understanding and a confidence in it at that time when we first met, but you know, that wasn't my reality. What put you in that state of having that much confidence?
I studied martial arts for 50 years of my life under Brother Steve Muhammad. To the point where that study allowed me to have reaching certain proficiency. that would give me a status of grandmaster. So in a martial artist life, you can say that you are, but until you put in some work and people see your work, they might not believe you. But after they see your work, see you move, and see how you evolve in that environment, then they believe what you're saying. So when I met Mr. Victer Muhammad, I would ask questions. And I would ask questions every day. Is that right, Brother Victer?
Indubitably.
And I would tell you, I'm going to be your best student. Is that right, Brother Victer?
Yes, sir.
And I did that for 3 days, 3 years straight, brother, on everything that I came across, on every disease that people would bring to me. And he wouldn't give me the answer. He would say, go research. And I would go research it, and that research would point back to what he had done. Just like when I got the teachings of the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad, I spent my initial time trying to understand what I had been given in religion, but because I was a student of Satan, I wanted to disprove it. But in going into disproving it, it proved itself true every time.
That's right.
So as we began to deal with people, and I would find people that I know, because I've always been involved in nutrition and health and trying to help people get better because of what I understood, then I would ask them about these people. They're dealing with myasthenia gravis, so they're dealing with eczema, or they're dealing with arthritis, or they're dealing with asthma, or they're dealing with these things. He said, brother, go look it up. So this man made me referee journals as a neophyte. He said, go look it up, and I would bring it back and say, well, brother, it says this, but right here it says it works. Why do they do that? He said, well, brother, he explained to me that I take that lesson and I keep going. So now I have a foundation, but I have a foundation like you with a product when you're giving it to people. The first brother that I gave the product to had HIV, herpes, genital warts, diabetes, and high blood pressure. All of those things. And he was 72 years old.
Dang.
You don't have none of those things. That's the first person.
Yeah.
The second person that I gave it to was suffering from myasthenia gravis, no longer having issues. So I saw a man who needed some help. And I saw a benefit in it for myself. And I went on and created Nature's V, and I asked him, could I create this? And he guided me through every bit of the process of creating. He didn't go into the minutiae of presenting it, but everything that you see in Nature's V, I asked him for guidance in it. That's why we're here today.
Yes, sir. We've had a question about ivermectin. Sister Loretta Muhammad says, what are your thoughts on ivermectin and the FCN article where the sister scientist suggests that it may be helpful to vaccinated individuals as well? Well, sister, I can honestly say that I have prescribed ivermectin in my experience. It's been very periodic. I haven't done it a lot. But I have quite a few colleagues around the country that have used ivermectin and they have had success. And so I would never speak negatively about ivermectin's ability to help people. The part about ivermectin that I would not personally support or use is because there are side effects. It has a side effect profile that causes liver damage in quite a percentage of the people that use it. And that's the reason why I typically talk about the supplements, IV100, specifically for protecting us against a viral pandemic, and not ivermectin, because as we just mentioned, I have not had one person to date. My experience with IV100 began in 2017. I don't remember the month, but it was sometime in 2017. And the first two people that I used it in, it probably wasn't the best decision because I was a novice at that point. But like Brother Eric, the first person that started to make me a believer was a man who had HIV. And within, I don't know exactly how long it took him to seroconvert, but in 6 months after we started him on ID 100, he was seronegative for HIV. And of course, I already knew that by reading what Brother Victer Muhammad had done with Dr. Alim back in, the 90s, but I hadn't experienced that. And then the second thing that happened was I used it in somebody that had herpes, which in my training from medical school is incurable, as well as HIV. Those were things that we were taught. That's what you're going to have to live with for the rest of your life. So you take these medications to suppress this and help you live longer, whatever the case may be. But when I saw those two things that I had walked into the reality thinking were incurable, those were game changers for me. And so, the only benefit that I could say is positive about ivermectin is it's very cheap because it's been around for a very long period of time. But similar to the way that the Honorable Elijah Muhammad mentions that if you eat cheap food, it's not going to be cheap later on because you're going to have doctor's bills and hospitals bills and all these other things because you ate cheap food for so long. And so, it's not really to me about ivermectin. Does it work? Yes. But when Brother Dr. Akili wants to use something, I try to avoid anything that has a negative consequence. And so in the conversation of treatments and the 14 therapies that the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan mentioned in the criterion, I'm sure that would be included in that. But today's discussion is about what we think is the best. And so that's what we have to, we have to lean on that because I think it's important, like you all know, that I am doing my presentations now through a blackstream.live/TUWG, which is in the comments if you want to check it out. But we're looking at a Black man that produced these products. And so we're talking about a Black business that I think we should support because it's the best product I know of, bar none. And so while I'm on that subject, please share the show because we want as many people to know about these products as we can. And so, Brother Victor, you and I had a conversation about these side effects from these vaccines, which the VAERS site numbers are just growing by the day. And we concluded that there's nothing that we know of that's out there that can do anything about this new technology and what's going on. And I concluded that, I don't see anything better than the supplement to do that. So what would be your suggestion when it comes to what you're seeing as far as the side effects of these vaccines? And there's not a lot of information on, of course, as we have discussed anything about these vaccines. They're telling us what they want us to know. But would you consider that there's anything better than the supplement for what we're looking at in all aspects of this pandemic?
I don't know of anything, but my recommendation has been consistent since the vaccine discussion first began last year. Excuse me. And that is, don't take it. It's really just that simple.
Yes.
The human being, particularly in the Western world, more specifically America, we'd like people to give us long, drawn out, elaborate, sophisticated sounding explanations for things. And if it doesn't come like that, then we reject it because it doesn't have any value because they didn't use big words. So you can say Canis domesticus, or you can say dog. It's the same thing.
Right.
But this is how we've been trained in America. So my recommendation to the people with regard to the vaccine is, and I was just on another show an hour ago, and my response was the same with regard to the vaccine. I wouldn't take it. I wouldn't take it. And if you don't take it, then you don't have to be concerned with the side effects.
Simple and short, huh? Well, I think we've had a wonderful discussion, and there is a special announcement that Brother Victer would like to make to us tonight. So go ahead, Brother Victer. Let's go ahead and take this time to make the announcement on what it is you have to say tonight.
Okay. One of the reasons I did not become a professional jazz musician, and one of the reasons I have not signed a contract to publish books is because I don't want to have to generate music, or I don't want to have to generate a book because I'm under contract to come up with something. Like your musicians do. They sign a 5 CD contract. And so whether or not they're inspired to come up with songs, they have to. And that reduces the quality. And so I don't go searching for new products. I wait until they're given to me. And I've been given 4. I have done the R&D on 2 of them, and we are now releasing 2 of them. The first one is called Pitbull Lightning. And this is a natural method of enhancing and stimulating male libido. The second one is called Black Desert Nights, a natural solution developed to solicit a tranquil, more sound sleep experience. Now, mostly every person, every male that we know, maybe even in their 20s today, because of the lifestyles that people are living, has an issue with this subject. And there are products on the market that they don't utilize your own biochemistry. They use a mechanical methodology for giving you a mechanical ability to perform. But instead of us doing that, we could have done that. We could have made a similar product to that, but we didn't do it. We've taken our own physiology and your own mind, your own brain, and we developed a product that has absolutely no side effects that are negative. It does work, but it doesn't work in the same way as the blue pill and other things that are on the market. It works by taking your own physiology and aiding your own physiology. So there are no side effects. It's not costly, and it does work. Now, later, we're going to do another interview where we'll go more into how this process works and the things that the man who chooses to use this product, the things that he'll have to do. And each of these things that he will have to do will only help his own health. The other products don't do that. They give you a temporary mechanical utility that is not real. It's not real. But the use of this product, it will be all you. And again, as with the other supplements that we have, there are no negative side effects. This product, the male libido enhancer, is called Pitbull Lightning.
Okay, let me pause you just for a second, Brother Victer. Everybody that's on the show, plenty that you know that uses that blue pill. All right, go ahead and send them send them the link to this video and tell them to come join, because we have the solution for them. I'm laughing, but I'm serious. You know, I love the way Brother Victor's put this beautiful language on it, because it's usually not. But also the mechanic, he's talking about this mechanic. That's beautiful language, because typically people don't talk about it in that type of language. But in all seriousness, brothers and sisters, we're talking about a medical problem that is affecting a great majority of Black men. And we're not doing something that is going to take their money and cause them more problems down the line, no side effects. But I'm going to give it back to Brother Victor. But please share the show with some people that you know are struggling with certain medical problems, diabetes, high blood pressure, or that you know of is having problems with their libido, erections, and let them watch the show, and let's support this Black man. Go ahead, my brother. Apologize for interrupting.
No problem. And the other product that we are now introducing is Black Desert Nights. N-I-G-H-T, not K. And Black Desert Night was developed out of the need as a sleep aid. It's not chemical. It doesn't have any negative side effects. It's not costly, and it's not a drug. So you don't need a prescription. It works, and it uses your body's own physiology to have. What it does is that it helps you to have a more tranquil, deep sleep. And this is the kind of properly function if you're tired, if you're fatigued. It cannot. And many times we become sick. We become sick because we're fatigued.
There you all have it, should I say. Sorry for this technical difficulty. That was the announcement. So, you know, we wanted to have a show to discuss what we think is the best product out for what we are going through right now, this pandemic. I suggest that everybody that is not 100% confident in your immune system, you should get the Immuno Boost 100. That's this one. Hope you can see that well. Immuno Boost 100. That is what will help you make it through this pandemic. And then there are other products. You know, we have Immuno Boost 19, which I have discussed before. We can remind you of those shows, but you just heard two other ones. And I would mention that sleeping aids are the #1 medications that people are addicted to in this country. Not crack, not cocaine, not heroin, not pain pills, but sleeping aids like Prazolam and Xanax and things of that nature. The middle class white woman who stays at home is more addicted to a sleep aid than any other medication in this country. And so when Brother Victor is talking about a product that has no side effects, that is going to help you with your sleep, which is in essence talking about going from the lighter and the lower stages into the deeper stages of sleep, where you really get a refreshing and a body that is renewed and refreshed and has released toxins and also made some repairs. That is what produces your energy for the next day. So we're talking about something that is very significant to your health. And then again, Brother Victor didn't say that he's produced a product that is going to give you the ability to have libido or an erection, but it doesn't deal with benefiting the body. His explanation is there are no side effects with this medication, but as he will come back and explain, it is going to help you go in the direction of solving a problem, because when a man has a problem with his erection, that is a sign that there are some serious vascular problems, blood flow problems in the body. That's not just a ordinary thing. That is something very significant. And so we're talking about things, as we said from the beginning, that we are talking about a how to eat to live paradigm, right? This is not just motivation by money. This is motivation by helping people and getting us to improve our lives as a community. And Brother Victor also said in the beginning, we're not talking about just Black people. We're talking about people, right, that have the right mind state, that want to live a righteous life. Here are products that can help you in that journey. So I think that's about what we came for tonight, my brothers. So any closing remarks?
No, not for me. Thank you for having us on the show. Thank you for being a brother in the sojourn of what we're doing, both of you. If you all have need of any of the products that are mentioned today, just go to natures-v.com, Ultimate Wellness Group, and get what you need. The science that Brother Victor has brought us, we've asked him. The Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan said that when the people are in need and have a desire that only God can answer, he would bring it to an individual who will be birthed through the womb of a woman. Don't walk away from the blessing just because it's your brother. You should run to it because now you have someone who loves you like you love yourself, producing for you that which can give you life in a world that is filled with death. Thank you all. Thank you, Dr. Keeley, for having me and allowing me on the show. Thank you, Brother Victor, for sharing all of what you've made by God's permission with us in your life journey to help us. And thank you for just letting me be a part of it.
Well, I thank both of you brothers for taking some of your time. I know you're both busy for us to have this conversation with the brothers and sisters that joined us this evening. I appreciate you both for what you do, the expertise that you are sharing with me, and the brotherhood that we're building. And again, brothers and sisters that are listening, I don't believe that what you heard tonight is just ordinary, right? I mean, we're not specifically talking about a particular medical problem, but we're talking about an ideology that is founded in something that helps produce more and better, right? And so, as we talked earlier about the fruits and the vegetables of our labor when it comes to the land, when God gives you something, you get abundance. I have never had a fruit tree, a plant, or any type of product that I grew in my backyard that produced food that didn't give much more than I ever thought that I was going to get. And to me, that's what the conversation that we were having tonight, because we're talking about the motivation of brothers that want to help and that have given their life to try to help us make some progress in our lives. And so I pray that you saw the same thing. I see many of the comments are really appreciative. I appreciate you all coming in and interacting and giving your feedback. There are some comments on here that I will answer directly because it's time for us to get up off the show. But I appreciate you all coming this evening and joining us. I pray that you got some news that you can use. I pray that you can continue to come back and watch the Ultimate Wellness Group programs, because we're always going to try to bring you the type of information that can help improve your health You heard Brother Victor say that we're going to come back and we're going to have a more in-depth conversation. So make sure you tell some people about this product and about what it can do to help them through the times that we're living in. We're living in my personal viewpoint, in the last months of this year, we're living in some very dangerous times. Some times where this government is going to try to mandate and push more fear in people and try to bully people. It's time for us to stand up and live and be what it is that we say we are living and trying to be, because there is no other way other than for us to stand up to make a better future for those that are coming behind us. So again, I thank you all for joining us today. Pray you have a wonderful rest of your evening and a wonderful rest of your week. And until next time, peace.
Peace.
Assalamu alaikum, brothers.
Thanks a lot.
Thank you.
Thank you.